What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. And today we'll be talking about yesterday's Emirates Cup victory, people. We're lifting silverware. It's going to be a big season. I'm joking, by the way. Calm down. Although we did lift silverware, but obviously, I'm kidding. It ain't a major trophy. But anyway, lots of transfer news to talk about today as well. Players potentially leaving and a couple players potentially joining the club. In fact, somebody has left today, actually. We'll go into more detail with that. And obviously, the big news, the bad news, and the news that for me has put a downer on the start of the season is the fact that G.Jesus is going to miss the start of the Premier League season through injury. It's the same knee that he injured last season that kept him out for over 3 months. I'm concerned. I'm concerned. For me, we need a striker. I said this before he was even injured, that I felt we needed a striker, but I think we do anyway. And listen, he's not going to be out for a long time. My concern is that knee injuries are a major, major problem in football. If you get a bad knee injury early in your career, often it can be a repetitive injury, and I'm just concerned about Jesus. So it's not so much about this injury. He's out for a few weeks, not the end of the world, but it's the fact that, is this going to continue to happen? For me, we need a different option. Is that option within the club at the moment, or does the option have to be found from outside of the club? We're going to discuss other options in the show. It's just 4 games before he's back. I mean, AJ, as I'm saying, 4 games in isolation is not a big problem. My concern is this guy's been at Arsenal just over a year and he's had 2 knee injuries already. That has to be worrying for any Arsenal fan, whether it's 4 games, 5 games. He was out for over 3 months last season. Can we rely on him? We've seen it before. We've had quality players, Diaby, Cazorla, Rosicky. Quality players, injury prone. They're no good to you people, I'm afraid. And the striker market is pretty bad at the moment as well. So, listen, we're going to talk about options. Every problem has a solution. Let's try and find a solution and let's discuss it. Big up to everyone. Big up to everyone I saw at the game yesterday. I will be back to business in terms of the watch-alongs. I know, obviously, for the US tour, didn't do any of those games yesterday as well. I went to the game, so didn't do a watch-along for that. From Sunday, back to business. Community Shield watch along. I'll be here. Get back tuned in, locked in, and let's get back to business. They saying just on a different matter, Crawford v Spence had to be the best. Listen, I wanted Spence to win, right? I wanted Spence to win, but I don't know. And it's easy to say now at the end of the fight, and I won't talk about it for too long because people have tuned in to listen to football discussion. But when I seen Eminem walk out with Crawford, I felt Crawford was the favourite for the fight anyway, just because of the extra experience. But that Eminem walkout, man, it was wild. It was wild. I can't lie. The vlog should be out tomorrow morning, hopefully. Tomorrow morning. A bit late, unfortunately, but it's not me editing it. But yeah, should be out tomorrow morning. Big up Curtis, great interview on AFTV yesterday. You always speak the real. I try, my friend, I try. Anyway, let's talk about Arsenal. I'm just briefly going to talk about yesterday's game. I don't want to harp on about it for too long. I got to be honest. I'm sure most of you watched it. I went to the game. It was all right. It was all right. Big up to everyone who I met yesterday at the ground as well. It was an all right game. It wasn't great. The atmosphere was a little bit flat. It's pre-season, not the end of the world. I've got concerns about that game yesterday, and there was a lot of discussion outside the stadium with fans. There's no need to panic. It's definitely not time to press the panic button. Pre-season is a great time to experiment. I think my issue is the later you get in pre-season, the more you should get towards the team that you're looking to play. And I felt like we're a pick and mix at the moment. We just look like a pick and mix. I don't know what's going to... And listen, on Sunday against City, we might just see a conventional team set up nicely and we go for it. But I'm like, the whole pre-season, we haven't really seen Partey and Rice with Odegaard. We haven't really seen the back four we're probably going to want to play. The front three keeps changing. I just want to, last preseason I felt so positive because it was like, wow, we look settled. I know what team we're going to play first game of the season. We look like we're ready to go right now. I'm looking at Arsenal at the moment. I'm like, we're conceding sloppy goals nearly every game because Timber's at left back, then he's at right back, then Tomiyasu's at left back. Tierney can't get a start. Zinchenko's still not fit. Saliba yesterday, I love William Saliba. I think he's the best defender at the club. I think he's arguably one of the best centre-backs we've had in the last 10, 15 years. He looked shaky yesterday. I'm not going to lie, it was pre-season, no need to panic. He looked a little bit shaky. Now, he was playing next to Kivior. Kivior's somebody that he doesn't play next to, so maybe that caused an issue. But we just don't look settled at the moment. We look like, if pre-season was finishing in 3 weeks, I'd be like, no problem. You've still got 3 weeks to figure it out. What worries me is we're playing Manchester City at Wembley on Sunday. Declan Rice yesterday played in the 8 role. First time he's really started and played in the 8 role. You can see that he's not used to it. You can see, I think he'll get there eventually, but you can see that Declan Rice ain't used to making runs like that. He's used to, breaking up play on the edge of his penalty area and starting attacks. We were trying to get him into an attacking role yesterday. He doesn't necessarily look ready, to go into that role yet. So, listen, no need to panic. I think we'll be fine. But there are definitely a few things there that offer a little bit of concern. And you've just got to hope that those things are sorted out. And why do we keep getting caught on the counter-attack? Eman says here, one thing I've noticed in pre-season, in defensive transitions, we've looked awful. We're chopping and changing the 11. We're getting hit on the break. We're getting hit on the break, and I think we are trying to play high risk, high reward football where we're trying to dominate, which sometimes exposes you a little bit. City probably get away with it because Kyle Walker and people like that have blistering pace that gets them out of trouble. Social said Rice ain't ready. We'll take him over a year. He's been playing for West Ham. Get stuck in football. Too technical here. Look at the difference with Timber and Rice. It's true, and I'm not saying Rice will take a year, but it may take him a while. Timber played a very similar style of football at Ajax, and like you've said, you can see that the changeover looks seamless. With some of the others, it may take longer, but we'll see. Dre said, why is Arteta experimenting still? He should know the player's strengths and play that way. The arrogance. I don't know. The way that Arsenal want to play now. So you feel like a player you would hope they could just drop in. Pre-season, we've experimented a lot. When you look back at pre-season now, all of a sudden you're going, we drew with Nuremberg. We lost to Man United. We drew with Monaco. Listen, we'll see. We'll see on Sunday, people. We'll see on Sunday. You ain't going to get a better test than Man City at Wembley. Fofana bullied us, looked very good yesterday. Shane said we need more Ajax players. We look tired. Did you party with the guys in LA? No, I wish we did. Did you take some protein to the game for Fabio? He spent more time on the floor. Oh, dear me. Listen, he was up against a very solid player, I can't lie. Seno saying, I'm overreacting. You're overreacting. Nah, listen, as I'm saying, Seno, I'm not panicking. Not shouting, not criticising. I'm just saying we look a little bit out of sorts considering that was our last pre-season game. I would have liked to have seen a settled team. We looked a lot. I seen Tomiyasu and Timber swapping. I saw Declan Rice at times looked a little bit like, oh, I'm in an attacking role. I'm going to take time to figure out how to play this role. Sometimes the Premier League doesn't give you that time, We need a very physical player in centre mid. I think with Partey and Rice, we have that physical presence. I'm not concerned for that. I just think those two need more game time together to get used to it, Shaq said, Curtis, how do you feel? Eddie is our captain. I mean, it was a pre-season friendly, so I'm not going to go crazy about it. But, yeah, it's more the fact he's going to be leading the line up front is the problem. But we're going to talk about it in more detail. Vay said, Curtis is the GOAT of YouTube football. I agree with you, to be fair. I think it's a fair comment. Make sure you like the video, though, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, people. On the preseason tour, you're tempted to ask how many cones Arteta can put. I mean, listen, it would have been a good question. It's a question we all need to know the answer to. Anyway, let's talk about the headline news. And that is Gabriel Jesus for me. Getting injured again. It was revealed yesterday after the game. We knew before the game he wasn't going to be in the squad. We were hoping it was just a precaution, nothing major. And then Arteta says in the press conference after the game, on Gabriel Jesus' knee injury, he says he had a little procedure this morning. He's injured, unfortunately. He's had some discomfort in his knee that caused him some issues, so they had to go in. He's going to be out for a few weeks. I mean, procedure, operation. You can play it down. Procedure sounds a little less harsh, but he had an operation yesterday morning. And he confirmed later on in the press conference it was the same knee injury. Apparently, during pre-season, he's been playing with pain in that knee. They've obviously looked at it and they've said, listen, we've got to operate. Okay, small operation. But anytime you've got to open up somebody's body, people, and operate, then there's a problem. And it ain't a little problem. I don't care. You can play it down, little procedure. He had an operation. He's played through. The frustrating thing is that, you know, maybe the pain has only just come on, but you just think if they would have seen this problem earlier in pre-season, maybe we would have had him back by now. But obviously, maybe the pain has only just started, so I can't comment on that. Now, he said a few weeks. I've seen multiple reports. Some reports saying 4 to 6 weeks. Some reports saying 2 or 3 weeks. Either way, it's worrying because, listen, you could say he'll be out for 2 or 3 weeks, but his fitness levels are going to drop. So you can't necessarily just go after 3 weeks. Right, he's ready. Bang him in against Manchester United. No, his fitness is going to drop as well. This could be 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. This is a major, major concern. It's a major concern. Somebody said earlier in the chat, it's only a few weeks, he'll miss 4 or 5 games. In isolation, that's not a huge problem. We can probably deal with that. What the concern is this guy had a 3-month knee injury last season. They brought out a documentary on Arsenal talking about the recovery of the knee injury. That's how bad the injury. They brought out a documentary. And now he's broke down with it again. He came back in what? He was out December, January, February. He came back in March. He played March, April, May. He's injured again. I am concerned, people. I'm sorry. I'm concerned. And for me, Arsenal have to find a solution. And I always say, when a player starts to become injury prone, you have to stop being so heavily reliant on them. That's the solution. If you've got a second striker that is high quality, you can go, okay, it's bad news, but we got this brother who can step in. My argument with people yesterday, not argument, footballing debate that I had with a lot of people yesterday. I was saying, our aim as Arsenal fans is to be as good as Manchester City and be better than Manchester City. We want to win the Premier League. Manchester City's second choice goal scorer is the leading striker for Argentina who won the World Cup. He got Lautaro out of that team. He led them to the World Cup along with Messi. That's their second choice striker. Our second choice striker at the moment is Eddie Nketiah. We're going to speak about Eddie Nketiah a little bit in this show as well because, as I say, we have to find a solution. If Eddie is the answer, what's the question? I mean, that's a great way of putting it. And there were some people yesterday outside the ground, oh, give Eddie a chance. Eddie's good enough. I respect people's opinions, but he's not the answer. If the question is, what striker can join Jesus and potentially help us win the league? If that's the question, which I want every Arsenal fan to ask that question, can we win the league? Eddie is not the answer to that question. I'm sorry. I know he's one of our own. I know he's got a good celebration. I know he works his socks off. Respectfully, I thought he played pretty well yesterday. I really do. I thought he played decent. Eddie is not Arsenal level if Arsenal want to try and win the Premier League. He'd be a solid striker at Crystal Palace. He'd be all right at Forest, Fulham. That's his level. No disrespect. He is not a Premier League Arsenal striker. Eddie will not win you the title. He tries. He works hard. But he's not good enough. Not if you want to win the league. If you want to stay where we are, we can stick with him. If we want to progress, we have to find the answer elsewhere. Jesus will be out for at least 2, 3, 4 weeks, which is a major problem. Party after party said, Big C, every team has looked slightly behind in pre-season. City, United, Real Madrid, Paul, stop overreacting. Listen, I always say, concentrate on your own plate. Concentrate on your own plate. Yeah. I want to know what's on our plate. If Man City look a little bit slow in pre-season, no problem. They got a treble in the trophy cabinet. I'm sure Pep's not having nightmares if they're having a slow pre-season. Because Pep's going, boy, man, we look a little bit slow in pre-season right now, you know, more than you can believe, more than you can believe. Oh yeah, we won the treble 2 months ago. No problem, not going to panic. As far as I'm concerned, we didn't win a trophy last season. And I'm not interested in what Real Madrid are doing. They're not even in our league. Liverpool, Man United, listen, they're 2 quality teams, but I'm trying to look forward, not behind us. Concentrate on our plate. If I want to know how we're firing on all cylinders. And if Man City aren't firing, that's even more of a reason that we need to be firing, to try and catch them off guard. So I'm concentrating on what's on our dinner plate. Respectfully. I appreciate the super chat, though. George said, Big C, straight down to business. Are we looking to replace Jesus next season? Perhaps a bit harsh, but I don't think I can count on him for a whole season. You got to be ruthless. You want to win? You want to be the best? Got to be ruthless. When we signed Gabriel Jesus, delighted. Thought he was a very good player. If he has a big if he's injury prone this season, you got to downgrade him from first choice to second choice. Got no time to mess about. Pep ain't here to play games. Pep will take every trophy every season if somebody don't stop him. Jesus, if you can get over this and play the rest of the season, cool. If there's 2 or 3 more injuries, you got to replace him. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to sell him, but you've got to bring in somebody who maybe goes ahead of him. Simon said, Ramos to PSG, Tony suspended, Osimhen not for sale. What are reasonable options? I mean, listen, that's a great question. There are options. I'm going to discuss them. You're obviously talking about Gonzalo Ramos. They've paid 80 million euros for him. He's a very good player. Tony obviously ain't available to January. Osimhen, I mean, not for sale. I wouldn't say not for sale. I would say he's at a price that we won't get to. He is for sale if somebody drops 120, 130 million on the table, probably. But yeah, we're not going to do that. Let's get Mitrovic. Did Mitrovic go to Saudi? I'm not sure. I know they were. I know there was an offer for him. But we're going to talk. Let's first look what's within the house. Is there an in-house solution to this Gabriel Jesus problem? Now, we've got 4, possibly 5 options. Let's start with option number 1. I need to start being respectful, right? I've said a lot about this guy over the past couple of years. I think you all know my opinion on him. I respect his work rate. He came through the system. Good celebration. I'm trying to win the league title. I want us to win the league title. We're wearing this kit with gold on the sleeves and a gold badge because 20 years ago, we were the best team in English football. It's on the green screen behind me. Arsene Wenger. Saw the statue last night, you know, outside the ground. I want us to have gold on the sleeves because we won it this season. Eddie's not the answer, right? Respectfully, I've said it, but he's not the answer. Came in last season, did all right. Not good enough. He can't hold it down for long periods of time. He's not that guy. Second, Trossard. The only thing with Trossard, he's not a striker out and out, but we could play a different way if you play him up front. Could you go Martinelli, Trossard, Saka as a front 3, play with no out and out number 9, and go that sort of way? I like Trossard. I haven't seen enough of him up front to really make that judgment. He was brilliant against Barca off the left. That it's a potential option. And then obviously, like Zhao says, Martinelli and him could swap, you know. So that's a possibility. That's definitely a possibility. The other one, I mean, damn, fam. I mean, Havertz has got some talent. We're going to be patient with him and see what's what. But up front, I don't know, man. I don't know. I saw him up front at Chelsea and it stunk. I can't lie, it stunk, people. Multiple times I've seen this guy play up front for Chelsea and it really didn't look good, man. I don't know. We're a different team. Maybe we can make him look better. He took a nice penalty yesterday, but I don't know. I'm still very concerned about Havertz as a player at Arsenal, to be honest. But playing him up front, I don't know about Kai, you know. I just don't know. Damn, it's a damn, fam. Like, yo. I'm looking for solutions here, people. We need positive solutions. At the moment, I'm going Trossard, Martinelli, Saka front three. Saka and Trossard and Martinelli can all interchange. I think that would be very good. He's got the goal scoring ability. No to Eddie and Havertz. And then, yeah, this guy. I mentioned it in my interview yesterday. Do we have to change whatever the manager is planning to do with this guy? Because, and it is looking like desperate settings one, look. The crazy thing about this guy, and I've said it time and time again, I'm not sure he's the solution to everything, right? I'm not. I don't think he's a ready-made, you know, going to just come in and explode in the Premier League and be unbelievable. What I keep saying about this guy, what I don't understand, we always say, if we've got a quality player coming through our system, let's see if we can use him first, right? This guy scored 21 goals last season. Now, people say, oh, the French league's not that good, blah, blah, blah. But there are good players that have come out of the French league. We've seen Mbappe. We've seen Hazard. There's multiple quality players that have come out of the French league. I looked at Monaco last night. I think they finished 5th. They played well against us last night. That brother Fofana in midfield looked like a tank. He's come through our system, scored 21 goals in the French league, come back to us, he wants first team football, and he's been dismissed. Just been dismissed straight away. People go, no, he's not good enough. But we don't know if he's good enough or not. He hasn't been given the opportunity. But we want to give the opportunity to Eddie Nketiah, who had one loan at Leeds United and got sent back in the Championship. I don't get that. Now, I get it. Yeah, Lacazette scored 20 plus goals in the French league, but that doesn't mean every player in France isn't good enough. Saliba came from France. Mbappe came from France. You know, there's multiple top players that have came from France. There's still quality, you know, Payet and players like that. So, I don't think Balogun is a world beater, but I'm very surprised that we're not giving him an opportunity to try and prove himself, considering what he's done. Now, Arteta said in the press conference yesterday that his plan with Balogun hasn't changed despite the injury. So, that would indicate that they're still going to try and sell him. I think they're too far down the road with the Balogun situation. I think their plan is just to, you know, move him on. I think they're talking to clubs. I mean, I'd be saying at least try him. What are people saying about Balogun before we move on? Would any of you change the plan now and go, do you know what? Going to be very difficult to sign someone high quality at this stage, or maybe the money's not even there. You know, I'd love to see Arsenal go and get Osimhen or someone like that, but it's going to cost you 130 million. I don't think we're going to do that. Do any of you think now that we should give Balogun an opportunity and say, listen, I know you was looking for a move, but the feeling I get with Balogun is that Balogun just wants first team football. I don't think it's that Balogun wants to leave Arsenal. Balogun wants to start. He wants the manager to believe in him, and he knows the manager hasn't got him at the front of the queue. G.Jesus is number 1. Eddie was captain yesterday. He's clearly number 2. He's wearing the number 14. Balogun would be the third choice striker, so he doesn't want that. Would you give him an opportunity? Hendon Guna said Balogun has a bit of an attitude. He's not a cheerleader for Arteta. This is why Arteta does not want him. I think he's got a bit of an ego, which I don't see as a problem. You look at top players over the years, they had egos. I know many people that knew Thierry Henry, worked at Arsenal over the years. They said Henry had a massive ego, a really difficult attitude at times. Now, I'm not comparing Balogun to Henry, but I'm saying top players often have ego because they know their quality. This guy's just gone on loan to France, scored 20 plus goals. He's walked back through the door like, yo, I'm a player, fam. I'm a baller. I'm starting for America now. Yeah, I can tell you now from being on the America tour, the fans over there loved him. He's starting for the USA. He'll probably go to the World Cup as their starting striker. He's just scored 20 plus goals in France. He's going to have that belief in himself. He's 21 years of age. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I want to harness that and go, right, can I turn you into a top player? But I don't know. I think he's on his way. Rocket said 100% agree, though. Give him a chance. CR7 had an ego. Fresh ego. Yeah, there you go. In line with the hat. How many strikers don't have ego? Exactly. Strikers, strikers believe, in general, they're the best players on the pitch. Because strikers are the heroes. Strikers score the winning goals and they're, oh, you're the best. Celebrate with you. Strikers believe they are the superstars in teams. Anybody in the comments, tell me if I'm wrong. Whatever level you played at, if you're the striker, you believe you're the main man. Give me the ball. I'll make something happen. I'll score the winner. I'm the man. I'm the hero. I expect my striker to have an ego, but I think we can talk about it for the next 3 or 4 hours. I think Balogun's getting sold, and Arteta said in the press conference it doesn't change his worry. It doesn't change his plan when it comes to Balogun. So I think Balogun's on his way. I think they're just waiting for somebody to pay the money that they want. Maybe Balogun is a bit rough. Arteta doesn't want him to be exposed, lowering his value. I can't think of any other reason why he wouldn't put him in the shop window by playing him. The man hardly kicked a ball in pre-season. Jamie Tart settings, man. You know what I mean? Ted Lasso business, Dre. You know what I'm saying? Forget flow, says Shane. All right, we'll stick with Eddie then and see how that goes. Goat Teta said, Curtis, I'm worried because we are not gelling as a team. We look weak in all my days. How can people rate Eddie is the worst striker since 2010 that's played for Arsenal? Wow, that's really harsh. But I don't know what it is. We have this sort of. He's in that category again with, you know, El Neni and Holding. He trains well. He smiles. Got a nice celebration. Eddie. People fall for all that. I'm not really looking into that. I want to know how good you are, bro. But hey, it is what it is. Big up Goat Teta. Lucas said, option 1, a man's smile disappeared. Sorry, Eddie, man. When I seen the Eddie picture, I was like, you know, I'm just not sure about that. We got Man City on Sunday, people. They're turning up with Haaland and Alvarez. We're turning up to a gunfight with a Super Soaker 500. Spraying Pep with a water pistol. He's got an AK-47. You know what I mean? It don't make sense, people. Come on, man. Strikers. You need top quality strikers, people. Black said we have Balogun, but Arteta ain't having it. He's not interested, man. He wants him out the door. Simon said Trossard, underrated, scored at City, a hat-trick at Anfield for Brighton as a striker, then 2 against Barcelona. Yeah, give him a chance. I'd rather see Trossard, Martinelli, and Saka as the front 3 against City. Hamdu said it was nice meeting you in DC. Big up yourself, bro. Big up to everyone I met out there. Some great people and fans of Arsenal over there. Cormac said, would you beg Dicey to give us Calvert-Lewin? I mean, listen, I've said it many times, Cormac. You can have Calvert-Lewin, but you know, you're going to need a big wardrobe for all of his clothes that he wears. And he's injured at the moment. He tripped over on the catwalk, so he's out for the next 6 weeks. So he's no good to you, mate. He's no good to you. Big up Cormac. The Dicey impression always has to come out, right? Simon said, Balogun refused the contract extension. Agents asked Edu to reduce the price by 10 million so Inter can buy him. He don't want to be at Arsenal. Is it that he doesn't want to be at Arsenal, or is it that he wants first-team football? You know, if Arsenal are not offering him first-team football, he's not going to sign a new contract. He's only going to sign a new contract when he knows he's going to play. I think we have to look at it from his point of view as well, you know. So I get what you're saying, but unless they say, look, you're going to get game time, he's not going to commit, is he? And Inter Milan would be a big move for him, and obviously they want to play him. But big up Simon. Alex said after the goals he started sounding rude on his interviews. He said he was not going to go on loan again without talking with the club to their position on him. He should be humble and patient. Maybe he's got a bit big for his boots. Jashar, looks like Mikel Arteta wants to get rid of all the US players, which is strange, isn't it? US owners, you'd think it would benefit them to have some American players. African Giant says, look at this guy. No, not true. You don't need egos in the squad. You need a big man. Weghorst is available. Good lad, that. Yeah, listen, mate. Leave that horse wherever he is. I think he's at Burnley, back at Burnley. Big up African Giant. And what we got? Big up Ricky, becoming a new member. Really appreciate it, bro. We'll do a member stream early next week. Start of the season next weekend. So we'll do another one. Jitesh, sell Eddie and Flo and get Daily Dusan. We're going to talk alternatives. Goat Teta said, sorry, I was a little too harsh, but come on, we need to have higher standards. Do you reckon the target will change to a striker from David Raya? I mean, a lot of the talk last night, again, we were sort of saying, look, man, do we really need to spend 40 million on a keeper? If we can spend 40 million on David Raya and still go and buy maybe a right winger and a striker, cool. Spend the money. If there's still big bucks left in the kitty, then spend your dough. But if we're down to our last 40, 50 million, I don't really want to see, a goalkeeper coming in for 40 million. Go and buy me an attacking player, please. But, it is what it is, man. Lukaku to Arsenal, 50 million, because you're my friend. Listen, please, no more Chelsea players. No, I'm only just, getting over Kai Havertz. I'm going to be honest. That one caused me some discomfort. I can't lie. But nah, Lukaku, we'll leave that one. Anyway, let's continue to look ahead. Can we go into the market? And I just wanted to briefly look at the games on Sky that they're saying that Gabriel Jesus will potentially miss, which is obviously not good news now. Oh, why has that gone off the screen? Where's the games? Where's the game? What are you doing? All right, here we go. Sky Sports. These are games that he's likely to miss. And when you look at it, I mean, they reckon he'll be out for 6 games. Man City Community Shield. Listen, I said this yesterday in my fan camp. That's an important game to me. This is the team that we went to war for, or with, last season. At Wembley, I want to beat them and start off properly, Forest at home, I'd like to think we could beat Forest at home even without Gabby. Palace away, tough game. We beat them last year, but Gabby was playing. Fulham at home, we only beat them 2-1 at home last year. Man United at home, we did actually beat them at home last season with Eddie up front. But United have spent money. Onana's in, Mount's in, Hoyland's in. They're looking at other players as well. And Everton away, we got absolutely bullied and beat up there earlier in the season. So you need to start the season well. If you lose to City, and I know it's all ifs, buts and maybes, but there are games there that you look at and go, you're going to need to score goals and you're going to need firepower. If Balogun's not involved and you're starting Eddie, you're short of options. I think the manager has to be open-minded about potentially bringing in a striker. Now, a couple of options that people have been talking about in the comments. Listen, I've said it time and time again. Osimhen and Tony are the ones, but Osimhen's going to cost you 130 million, and Ivan Toney's not available till January. I would still sign him and wait till January, but the reality is we might need a striker right now. You're looking at maybe Mawani, who is expensive. PSG were looking at him, but they've signed Gonzalo Ramos. The interesting one for me is João Felix. João Felix is available, apparently on loan again, with an option to buy. It's believed he wants to go to Barcelona. That's his dream club. But Barcelona are ready in to buy João Cancelo. Obviously, they've just let go Osman Dembele. People saying Kane, but yeah, Kane you're not going to get in for a transfer fee. You might get him next summer on a free. I'm not saying João Felix is the answer, by the way. I'm just trying to present options that could potentially be available. Mawani would be expensive. But João Felix on loan, I think would be a good option for Arsenal. I know he struggled at Chelsea, but I would take João Felix on loan because of his quality link-up play and stuff like that. But whether we go for him or not is a different one. There is definitely a lack of options. People say Mitrovic. I'm not sure. Did Mitrovic actually complete that move to Saudi? And obviously there are some people saying Dusan Vlahovic. Again, it looks as if Vlahovic is going to go to Chelsea in this swap deal for Romelu Lukaku. So I think Vlahovic will end up in a blue shirt next season of Chelsea. So that one could be out the window. But listen, we're definitely short of options in the striker market. I'm not sure we will go for a striker, to be honest. I think Arteta fully trusts Eddie Nketiah. I really do. And the evidence suggests that. He gave the guy 100 grand. He gave him the number 14. He gave him the captain's armband yesterday. There is nothing at all to suggest that Eddie's going to get moved on or fall down the pecking order. I think this manager well and truly loves Eddie Nketiah. So I think we are where we are, if I'm being honest. I think there are options out there, but I'm not sure we're going to exploit them. Big up Goat Teta for becoming a member. Simon said, get Kudus, he can play striker, or when Jesus comes back, he can deputise for Saka or depth for an attacking midfielder. We will talk about him a little bit later on. Big up for the super chat, bro. Eddie is Arteta's go-to guy. I think Arteta loves players that really train with intensity and got a good attitude and run through brick walls. I think he likes that personality at times at the expense of talent. And he likes people like that. But sometimes the best players are not like that. Joseph said, my first choice is Ivan Toney. He'll come in January when the season heats up. If we buy him, he'll be hungry. Totally agree with you. I've said it multiple times. I would still sign Ivan Toney. Still think he's a top player. And you could probably get him at a reduced price now as well, because the end of the day he's out for 6 months. But I suppose the problem is we might need a striker right now. Mohamed's Kudus is perfect for us. The striker market is light, says Jake. Ollie Watkins. Yeah, Watkins. I don't know if I'm a little bit harsh on Watkins, because he scored a great goal against Arsenal last season. I've just never really been convinced by him. But maybe I'm doing him dirty. I don't know about Ollie Watkins. I just don't know about him. But he's better than Eddie, that's for sure. But he'd be expensive. Villa have got money at the moment, and they paid nearly 40 million for him. So I think you'd pay 50, 60 million for Ollie Watkins. I'm just not sure. It makes you wonder, don't it? And I'm sorry to go back to this, but it just makes you wonder whether we needed to spend that 65 million on Havertz, because the reality is you might have been able to get Osimhen for 100, 120. You put that money on top of Havertz. I don't know. Iheanacho, nah. Listen, I know we're struggling, but we're not that bad. Iheanacho's decent at Leicester, but Leicester just got relegated, man. Robbie loves Ollie Watkins. Yeah, I'm not sure about Watkins, man. I don't quite see it. Havertz bang average. I feel like we've signed a player that's in between. Havertz is not a great striker, and he's not a great midfielder from what I've seen. It's kind of, we're going to try and shoehorn him in and make him a good player. I think he's got talent. I just don't know if he fits, but time will tell. I definitely think that João Felix on loan would be a reasonable option. What about Curtis Shaw? Hey, listen, man, the way I was playing NLA, I wouldn't go anywhere near him. Keep him on YouTube. Maybe if I get fit over 6-7 weeks. Listen, I'll go Saudi 3rd division. I've heard players are getting $5,000 a week in the 3rd division in Saudi. Listen, if I pop up in Saudi doing live streams, forgive me, people, they're getting $5,000 in the 3rd division. It's crazy. Let's all get shot, people. We'll all go over there. We won't get a striker. Let's be realistic. It's not looking great, is it? It's not looking good, bruv. Rabbi said, Curtis, have you noticed the lack of clear-cut chances created in any Arteta team since he took over? His teams don't know how to create big chances. Sooner or later, midfield goals will dry up. I think Arteta, the way he plays, his game is not built around the striker. I've always said that. He walked into a team with a striker who was a gunman. The moment it fell off, it was like, get him out. You've never really seen strikers thrive that much under Arteta. I think he wants his striker to be a link player. He wants his goals probably from the wingers and the attacking midfielder. Listen, we scored 80-plus goals last year, so I do think he did get a team creating chances last year. So I think that's a bit harsh. I think maybe the striker doesn't thrive under his system. George said, Big C, I think you disagree with me, but hear me out. I think we should be going all in for Kudus. Guy can play up front, right? Oh, no, I read that one. Next summer, go for a big striker. We may have to wait until next summer, The funny thing is, it's almost like Pep set Arteta up. When you really think about it, his whole system was like, when Aguero went, it was like, nah, Mikel, you don't need a striker. Your wingers will get you the goals. We'll play with a false nine. We'll play Sterling up front and Foden up front. So Arteta's looking, thinking, yeah, I don't need a striker. I don't need a gunman. I'll get rid of Aubameyang. I'll get Jesus. He'll get me 10, 12 goals a season. And as soon as Arteta left, This guy went and bought Haaland, who got 50 goals last season. It's like he set him up. Pep, you're a disgrace. More than you can believe, people. More than you can believe. I think he lied to Arteta. Told him he don't need a striker who scores goals, and then he went and bought Haaland. It's all mad, people. Anyway, let's move on. That's a long discussion. The Gabriel Jesus thing. Listen, for me, I wouldn't be surprised, Man City at Wembley on Sunday, if Eddie Nketiah's up front. I'm just saying as is, people. The manager loves him. He wore the armband. He's got the 14. He's given him everything. It's his stepson. He's trying to impress the baby mum, man. He's giving him everything. So, yeah, man, don't be surprised if Eddie's playing up front against Diaz and Stones on Sunday at Wembley, man. I'm being honest with that one. Pep gave me last season's headache. I'm telling you, he set him up. Our system is not built for an out-and-out striker right now. The thing is, though, E-man, a lot of people said that about City. City's goals all come from the wing. How are they going to deal with a target, man? Remember when Haaland first joined, start of the season, people going, nah, man, they're not playing the ball when he makes the run. By the end of the season, he had 50 goals. I think it worked out pretty well in the end. I think we could carry a striker of high quality, but he has to be somebody that can still maybe link up with the wingers. Pep gave us 2 rejects. He knew what he was doing. He knows Arteta likes his kid. I think with Pep gave us 2 players that he knew would improve us, but he knew they weren't the main guys. Let's keep it 100. And I like Zinchenko and Jesus. They improved us. But Pep knew, man, I'm not selling you De Bruyne. I'm not selling you Foden. I'm not giving you Ruben Diaz. I'm giving you the backup dancers. These guys aren't the main guys in the group. They're not on the front stage singing. These are guys in the background doing backflips, So he knew what he was doing. He gave us quality, but Pep never really believed that Gabriel Jesus was going to win Arsenal the league. He never felt Zinchenko was going to be, an incredible left back. They were good, but they were the guys, they weren't the 3 guys at the front. They were the 10 dancers in the background, man. And that's just keeping it a buck, people. Robert Sanchez to Chelsea is a here we go. Decent keeper. Obviously, he'll compete with Kepa. Jesus and Zinchenko backup. They were the backup dancers, man. Come on. Man, you watch the music videos when you was a kid, MTV Bass. You got 3 guys at the front. They're the main guys. You got 10 guys at the back, dancing around doing backflips, wearing different outfits. And Jesus and Zinchenko were in that 10 in the back, man, doing backflips, They're not Haaland, they're not De Bruyne, they're not Ruben Diaz. They're the main guys. Guys, you're a disgrace. They did so much for us. Now you're calling them backup dancers. They're backup dancers, man. They're good players, but they're backup dancers, It's like the 3rd girl in Destiny's Child. She was there. She made money. We don't really know what her name was. We knew it was Beyonce. We knew it was Kelly Rowland. And then it was the other girl, They're kind of like the other girl in Destiny's Child. You were still there, still great. You won all the trophies, but no one really knows who you was. But anyway, let's move on before they say I'm being disrespectful. Costa said, why are we forgetting Trossard was playing striker? Got his goal assist from there until Jesus was back, but our fan base are forgetting things very fast. He can play there. Is he a specialist there, though? People saying Cecil G settings. Cecil settings, man. Backup dancer settings. Big up Cecil, man. Yeah, listen, I would go with Trossard on Sunday. I would play Trossard up front. Ahead of Eddie, I would. I'd play Trossard, Martinelli and Saka. Give Man City something to worry about. Michelle, see, people are telling me her name's Michelle. Honestly, I think I thought her name was Beverly or something. I don't know. Beverly? Bev? No? Michelle. Sorry, I actually feel bad that her name's Michelle. I actually didn't know her name. The 3rd girl in Destiny's Child is called Michelle. That should be breaking news at the bottom. I should actually write a yellow ticker. Breaking news, the 3rd girl. I mean, look, Brett thought her name was Christina. I thought her name was Beverly. Sorry, Michelle. If I ever meet Michelle, I apologise. Thought your name was Bev. But anyway, we'll move on. Beverly Hills Cop, maybe, Beverly Hills, LA. It's dumb. I thought her name was Bev. But let's move on from that. You can't go on many channels and we're talking about, the 3rd girl in Destiny's Child, and it kind of just blends in. It's like an advert, you just have a little break, start talking about Destiny's Child. I can't believe her name was Michelle. Abby said he thought it was Wendy. So, Beverly's not too bad. But anyway, maybe Beverly can play up front for Arsenal. Let me not carry on anyway. Alistair Walt, come on, if you're a Beverly Hills Cop fan, but I'm going way off topic here. Maybe, she's been released by Beyonce. Maybe we could play her up top. Anyway, S. Ronnie, big up Big C. What's your overall feeling on this pre-season going into the season? Jesus injury, the Balogun deal, that injury record Arsenal has during training annoys me. I feel we're missing something. We're definitely missing something. Pre-season, I'll be honest, it's not the end of the world, because I remember seeing us beat PSG in pre-season. I think that might have been the year we finished 8th. So ultimately, it's just preparation. We'll find out on Sunday, and we'll find out next Sunday how good or bad this pre-season has been. We'll find out. If City roll us over at Wembley, then we're going to say pre-season was pretty bad. If we turn up and we're fantastic, we'll go, you know what? The one good thing about not playing that well in pre-season, and I mean the one good thing, the only good thing, is it gives the manager an opportunity to go, do you know what? That doesn't work. So I can't do that against Man City. I can't do that in the first Premier League game. That's the only good thing about it. And I think we've had an indifferent pre-season. I think we've tried a little bit too much. But we'll see on Sunday. We'll figure it out when Kevin De Bruyne's running at us. Then we'll see. Amaru said, Big C, I remember over a month ago when I said we need a striker, and Super Kev came after me saying we can go without Jesus, Eddie, backup. But let's see. Bro, listen, you know me. I totally agree with you. I think we've needed a striker for a long time. I like Gabby, but he's injury prone. Bleck said Pep is the master, Arteta is the cone man. Oh, dear. They get annoyed when I call him. I haven't called him the cone man for a while, but it's still there. It's still there lurking in the background. It's not even disrespect. It's just a nickname that kind of stuck with him. You just got to work with it sometimes. I still thought her name was Beverly, though. I'm still in shock. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on, people. 6,000,007. I think it's time to mould Martinelli into a striker. I feel he could get 20 plus. Also, Balogun was missing from all the training vids and pics. I think they're keeping him out of training. I think he's probably training by himself. We heard a couple of days ago Pepe's not training with the group. At times, a manager will pull you out of team training because they don't want to risk you getting injured by training in the group. A bad tackle, that can lead to injury. I think Balogun, Pepe, these guys are on their way out. John said, Pussycat Doll settings, it was all about Nicole. No one knew the other gal. Even to this day, I don't know any of the others. Just all about Nicole, wasn't it? So, yeah. How it goes sometimes. Backup dancer settings, people. Anyway, right, let's move on. Let me get into a few of your comments. Why are we not moving players on? What the F? Holding is still at the... Holding will get a testimonial here, mate. I'm telling you. When Eddie scores the 90th minute winner, preheat your oven. 200 degrees, bet your humble pie. You've got an agenda. Hey, listen, man. 90th minute winner, I'll applaud him, but I need to see consistency, bro. That's what I've always said. Eddie can pop up with a goal. We saw that last year. Man United, big goal. I gave Eddie props. Eddie was getting his flowers, but short period and a long period of time, that's the difference. Look at Adama Traore. You watch him in a good game, you think, oh my God, this guy, man, he's unbelievable. You watch him over 10 games, greased up turkey, So it's all about consistency, doing it over long periods of time. And Ketia, he's on the wind-up, by the way. People are going for Wasim in the comments. He knows what he's talking about. He's winding everyone up here, by the way. Anyway, let's move on. We need to move players on, but I still think we need to bring players in. And Mohamed Kudus, a lot of you have mentioned him today. Now, before I get into this story, Drew Hill, all about Cisco, exactly. It's a flaky sauce. Like, this sauce might be the ketchup in my fridge. It's not a good sauce. It's some random Twitter account that's been retweeted by big Twitter accounts, and now people are saying, he's signing. So I don't want to fill any Arsenal fans' mind with excitement that this deal is close in any way, shape or form, right? I don't want to do that. I always talk about the source of information, where it's coming from, before we get into the story. So there is an account that, I mean, it's got 5,000 followers on Twitter. I mean, you never know. He may have inside info, but it's been retweeted by a lot of big accounts, had 700,000 views. I don't even know who. His account's called Hand of Ozil. So it's probably some little fanboy account. But listen, I'm not going to disrespect him. He might have inside information. You never know. He has put Arsenal have agreed personal terms with Mohamed Kudus. There are a lot of people in the comments saying this guy gets a lot right. I don't know. Like, people are saying this guy's tier 1, got inside info in the club. I'm not jumping on the hype, right? Let's wait until some of the bigger sources jump on it. It could be a trust me bro source. But there are big accounts saying that maybe they know who this guy is and they're saying this guy has good sources. I don't know. You know, it could be the ketchup in my fridge. I don't want to create excitement based upon a very, very, very unreliable source. We'll see. If it comes to fruition, we'll give him his props. Maybe he did have inside info. People saying it's Cruz's burner account. Oh, my days. Trusty in Ozil, Vision 99. Reports saying that Mohamed Kudus has agreed personal terms with Arsenal, that he prefers a move to Arsenal ahead of Chelsea due to his connection with Thomas Partey, who of course plays for Ghana, is the Ghana captain, and also he wants to play in the Champions League next season, which obviously we can offer that. Chelsea can't. Sorry, I had to throw a little jab in there, you know, Terence Crawford kind of jab at Chelsea. You got to do it while you can, right? Black Lion said, what about Tammy Abraham? He's done his ACL. I think he's out till the end of November. So, listen, personal terms mean very little. Yeah, the player's prepared to join you if you can agree a deal with the club. Simple as that. Means very little. We agreed, from what I hear, we agreed personal terms with N'Golo Kante. We agreed personal terms with Cristiano Ronaldo. It means nothing. It means very little. Listen, no, it doesn't mean nothing. It means that the player is willing to join you, which is 50% of what needs to happen. But you've got to agree the deal with Ajax. Also, Chelsea are lurking in the background. And we know what Chelsea do when they're trying to get a player. They'll throw the bag at him, and then you'll see how much he wants to come to Arsenal. Because if Arsenal agree a deal and Chelsea agree a deal, we'll go Champions League, Thomas Partey's here, and they'll go, well, they've offered you 100 grand, we'll give you 200 grand. You know how Chelsea operate. And then we'll see how much he wants to play. For Arsenal, seems to be very highly rated. I heard Chris Hughton on the radio yesterday, and Chris Hughton is the Ghana national team manager, and he was saying how good he is, how he feels he suits the Premier League. He gets between the lines, he's very good at dribbling, and he feels he would suit an Arsenal or a Chelsea very well. He can play in that 10 role, he can play on the right. He's a very good player, had a very good season, and my worry with this is I think Arsenal are probably waiting to get rid of players. And you may not have the time to wait because other clubs are going to come in for him. Now, last season, he got 17 goals in all competition. 4 in 6 Champions League games, which is very impressive. I mean, very impressive. 11 goals in the league in 30. This is a player we should be going for. 23 years of age, left-footed, pace, can dribble, got strength. It's a no-brainer to get him in. It gives you sufficient backup for Saka on that right-hand side. He can play in the 10 role. I really hope we get this deal done. I really do. I think he would work in our squad. And he scores goals. We need a different option. We need to be able to pull Saka out of certain games or do something different. You know, we need variety in that front three. So, listen, Ajax apparently want £40 million. 40 million for me, as I keep saying, I think we need to add to that front line before we start panicking about the goalkeeper. If we've got enough money to buy Raya and still go and buy a Kudus or buy a striker, by all means go and get both of them. But if their money is short, get the attacking player before you get the goalkeeper. Scored a banger against Liverpool at Anfield. This is a great point from South London's finest. Fabio Vieira played right wing yesterday, and he tried. He was inventive, he was creative, he was trying to pick passes out and stuff like that. But, you just saw that, listen, man, we're not the same team without Saka. And it's not just Saka, it's in that first half, Martinelli was cooking their left back. But Vieira wasn't getting a lot of change out of their left back, and Martinelli was cooking their right back. We need a pacey option on the right. Reece Nelson is better on the left. Martinelli and Trossard are better on the left. We don't have a quality right back, or right winger, to back up Saka. We have to get a right winger. Vieira isn't a winger for me. He's trying to do the Bernardo Silva, let me put a number 10 on the right and get him dribbling, but he ain't Bernardo Silva, bro. Man called him a Portuguese pudding. That's out of order, man. That's out of order. I think the Portuguese pudding actually weighs more than him. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. I'm here all week, people. We're here all week. You've got an agenda. He's only been here a year. Listen, bro. He needs a protein shake. That's what he needs. But anyway, you can see with Fabio, he's a technical player. It's whether he can deal with the physicality of the Premier League. That's what worries me, man. Is he ready to go to Burnley on a Tuesday night or Everton on a Sunday? You know, with Onana growling at him, just like, you know, that man there, they're different, bro. I'm telling you. The dad jokes will always run, people. You know, I can't help it. Yeah, I can't help it. Cook him. I mean, he'd probably disappear. Let me not do it. I don't want to do it to him. Fabio is the vegan version of Bernardo Silva. Fabio needs some fufu. He needs something, bro. He needs something. Listen, Kudus, though, would be a very good signing. That's a good point. He may actually be better in the Champions League, to be honest. More technical, bit more time on the ball, less physical. That could probably suit him, rather than a Premier League game against more physical opposition. I also think he should play in the 10 on the right. It's not the one for me. Onana growling like a wolf. Them man don't play, bro. You go up to Liverpool, Onana, Decore, all them man just growling like, I'm waiting for you, Fabio. He don't know what's going on. He don't know what day it is. Anyway, let's move on. Fabio is the Bernardo from Wish, said BB. Listen, maybe he will become the new Bernardo Silva, but it ain't looking good right now, people. I can't lie. The vegan version of Bernardo is a classic, though. I can't lie. That's a good one. Anyway, let's move on. Let's hope we get Kudus through the door. Somebody who will not be at Arsenal next season. Done deal. Austin Trusty. We never saw him play a competitive game for Arsenal. And I'm going to give this guy some credit. I'm going to give him some credit because, you know what? It would have been very easy for him to sit at Arsenal. Probably would get on the bench. Pick up his wage. Can tell everyone he plays for Arsenal. Couple injuries, you might get a little bit of game time. And you could just do the whole Rob Holding thing. You could do that if you wanted to. You could have done that. But I respect him. The guy came over here. He went on loan to the Championship. The Championship is a real hard league to play in. You know, there's a lot of animals down there. He went there and got Player of the Season at Birmingham City. I respect that. He's come back. He's gone on the pre-season tour. Minimal game time. I think he got the winner, didn't he? Yes. He's a skills challenge maestro. We'll never forget him hitting the crossbar at Audi Field in DC. The streets won't forget. And like I said, he could have sat there, picked up his money, said that he played for Arsenal. And he said, listen, I'm not trying to be Rob Holding. Sheffield United, £5 million, done deal, fair play to him. I respect him. Spoke to him briefly out there in America. Basically, I said, are you going to be here next season? He said, I don't know. 24 years of age. He's an American international and he's got the move. He can go to a Premier League club. He'll start for them. I respect that. I really respect that. Honestly, I got a lot of time for that. A footballer's number one priority should be to play football. It's as simple as that. In all fairness, I haven't seen enough of him. He might be better than Rob Holding. Maybe we should have sold Holding and kept Trusty, but is what it is. Holding somehow will survive. Austin Trusty joined Sheffield United, 4-year contract, £5 million, and good luck to him. Good luck to him. I respect him. What does Daichi think of Vieira playing versus Everton? First of all, Lucas, I don't even consider him Vieira. There's only one Vieira, and that was Patrick, mate. This Fabio, mate, I've had bigger Nando's chicken wings than this guy, mate. We'll eat him for breakfast. We eat bricks, we eat wood, we eat concrete. You bring Vieira to Everton, he won't make it back on the coach, mate. I'll have an Anna waiting for him. No more Daichi today, mate. It's not good for the sore throat, I can't lie. But big up Lucas. Big up Southern Gooner. Late to the party, see, but did you see that brother Youssef Fofana last night? Man was moving like a Cadillac. Beast mode, bro. Beast mode. I see him linked with West Ham today. That Youssef Fofana. I think, I could be wrong. I'm sure we were being linked with this guy at one stage. I don't think it was a real good link. He's actually a full French international now. He's got 8 caps for France. 24 years of age. I mean, listen. I haven't seen much of him, so I don't want to get caught up on one performance. But that guy was a tank yesterday, absolute tank. Yeah, we was briefly linked with him, but yeah, I can see why West Ham are looking for him definitely. Big up Herbert with the super sticker as well, bro. Appreciate it. But yeah, Austin Trusty, all the best, and good luck to him at Sheffield United. Apart from when they play us, of course. It was interesting. I've seen a few of you saying about Declan Rice there yesterday. One thing I will say with Declan Rice is that Rice is going to have to adjust his game quickly because we're asking him to do something completely different. You saw yesterday that Rice at times was like, wow, I've got the freedom to attack. I've got Thomas Partey covering. Usually him and Souček would be doing all that dirty work at West Ham, go and win the ball back and blah, blah, blah. We're saying, yo, go on, go and join in. I think Rice will become a very good player in that Xhaka role. I think it's going to take time because he's not used to it. People have to understand Declan Rice was a centre-back, coming through the youth team. He's ended up becoming a defensive midfielder. We're now expecting him to go into a more attacking role. It's going to take time. Nearly scored a good goal yesterday, a brilliant tackle. I think you give him time in that role, I think you'll get a very good player. But it will take time. There will be games where maybe it doesn't quite work. I want to see him shoot more. I want to see him start making third-man runs. It won't happen overnight, as Eros says, but I think he will be good in that role over time because he's big, he's strong, he can make them runs, he's got a shot on him, can use both feet. I am still excited about Rice, but there's gonna be an adjustment period. I think you want to see Partey, Rice, and Odegaard. That is the triangle we need to see in midfield. Rice needs to heat up quick or end up soggy in the 8 position. Yeah, Arteta was shouting a lot of instructions at Rice yesterday. Curtis, what's your honest opinion on Tomiyasu? Some are saying sell him. He's been poor for a while. If we got a good offer for Tomiyasu, I'd let him go. I'd let him go. And I don't say that easily because I like Tomiyasu. I think that first season he was fantastic for us. Last season he was very injury prone. This season I'm kind of like, listen, again, if he's willing to be a backup dancer and just stay around in case, you can keep him. He's not on a huge wage. But you've got Timber, you've got Ben White ahead of him at right back, and you've got Zinchenko and Tierney ahead of him at left back. So, to me, I don't think Tommy's going to get that much football. I don't mind keeping him as a squad player, but he's way down the pecking order right now. You're looking at the third choice right back. Even at left back, I think you're going Zinchenko, Tierney, even Timber's better than him at left back. So I wouldn't be desperate to sell him. I don't mind keeping him as a squad player, but I think he's sellable if you got a good offer for him. Sell Holding before Tomiyasu. Oh, 100%. You want to sell Holding. Is Rice an expensive version of Carrick? I mean, Carrick was top quality. I think Rice will become a different player to Carrick. I think he'll join in a lot more. Can Tommy do the Michelle role? Hey, if he wants to be Michelle, he can do that. Words of the stream today, people. Backup dancers. There you go. There you go. Anyway, let's move on. Couple other stories before we start to round up. David Raya. Arteta was asked about him in the press conference and he refused to talk about him. Something that I've learned over the last 2 weeks. Don't directly ask the manager about a player in a transfer window. You will not get a straight answer. But anyway, forget that Mbappe one. Although I actually still think it's a bit of a classic in its own right. But David Raya. Do we need him? Should we spend 30 million on him? Now, the impression that I'm getting with this one, this is the angle that I think has happened. Matt Turner has got an opportunity to go to Forest and be first choice. And again, fair play to him. Turner's not prepared to sit on the bench. He wants to be American #1 for the World Cup. To do that, he's going to need to start. He can go to Forest, big club, Premier League, start every week. Arsenal will probably get about 10 million for him. He's then looked into the market and they've said, look, you can get David Raya for 30 million. This is a quality keeper. I showed you his stats the other day. He's #1 in a lot of categories. Most saves, second in catches from crossers, most passes completed in the Prem of any goalkeeper. They've looked at it and gone 30 million. We'll get 10 for Turner. You're effectively getting David Raya for £20 million, which when you look at it like that is fantastic business for a goalkeeper of that level. So I think he's looked at it and said, listen, we're basically paying 20 million for Raya. We also want to put a little bit of pressure on Ramsdale because he has took his foot off the gas a little bit. So I think they've just seen it as it's too good an opportunity to turn down and we've got to go for it. So yeah, that's the angle that I think Arsenal are looking at it from. I don't think there was a desperate need to go and spend big money on a goalkeeper. I think an opportunity has presented itself. It's a goalkeeper that he likes, and they're going to go for it. I still want to see an attacking player come in as well, though. That would be my thing. Mikel hasn't managed the goalkeeper position well. Got rid of Leno and Martinez. I mean, I've said to this day, I stand by it. It's a very touchy subject with the Arsenal fan base. They don't like this discussion. Not everyone. A lot of you, I'm sure, don't mind it. But Emi was the one, in my opinion. I'm sorry, not everybody likes that. Leno was never good enough with the ball at his feet. If you want to play that modern style of football, Leno was poor with the ball at his feet, but was a fantastic shot stopper. Emi was the guy, in my opinion. But you got rid of Emi to go for Ramsdale, so you can't surely a year or two later be then saying, oh, now Ramsdale ain't the guy. You can't keep changing. And I just wonder, and I've said time and time again, if I'm David Raya and Arsenal come in for me, the first question I'm asking is, am I your #1? Am I your main goalkeeper? If Ramsdale's #1, why would he come to us when he can start every week at Brentford? He's got a chance of playing for Spain at the Euros. So my concern is that if David Raya comes in, he's coming in to be #1, which then means what happens to Ramsdale. I don't know. The goalkeeper position's crazy. You come in, Emi becomes the #1, you sell him because Leno's your #1. A year later, you sell him to make Ramsdale your #1, and a year or two later, you're bringing in Raya, who could then go ahead of Ramsdale. I don't know. Maybe he'll get there eventually, people. But we spoke about it the other day. Is David Raya better than Ramsdale? Personally, I think they're at the same sort of level. I do think sometimes, I mean, people were saying it earlier about Balogun. Sometimes it's the new toy, isn't it? You know, you got the new toy all of a sudden. You know, Buzz Lightyear looks better than Woody, don't he? You know, because, you know, you can press the buttons and, you know, he's the spaceman to infinity and beyond. You know what I mean? It's better than Woody, who, you know, can't really do much and he's just flapping around on the horse, you know. Round like the wind, bullseye. If you watch Toy Story, you're with me right now. If you haven't, you're thinking, what the hell is this guy talking about? But that was the only comparison that popped into my head. Ramsdale still deserves respect. I was not happy with Ramsdale when we signed him, but he has been a better goalkeeper than I thought he was going to be. And I think he does deserve a lot of credit. I think he's genuinely putting pressure on Pickford to be England's #1. He made some mistakes at the end of the season, but listen, Saka fell off. Partey fell off. How many of Arsenal's team fell off at the end of the season? So it's an interesting. If Raya comes in, I'm all for it. I want high quality competition. And sometimes man said, "There's a snake in my boots." I'm sorry, I might have to watch Toy Story after this. I don't care. That, you know, it's popped into my head. Sometimes we don't realise we need an upgrade until we get the upgrade, if you know what I mean, people. Like, I mean, I'm trying to think of an example in the Arsenal team, but okay, Leno was a good goalkeeper. Most people didn't think you needed an upgrade on him. When you got a keeper in that was comfortable on the ball, all of a sudden you're going, oh, damn, maybe Leno wasn't as good as I thought. Kieran Tierney was rated one of the best left backs in the Prem, to be honest. You bring in Zinchenko, you're like, boy, look what this guy can do on the ball. Tierney can't do that. Sometimes you don't see what you need until it's actually right there. So maybe Ramsdale does need upgrading. I don't know. I'm trying to defend Ramsdale, to be honest. But yeah, the analogies are wild, but you know, that's what you get on this channel. Information and entertainment, people. Nick saying Arsenal will meet Nicolas Pepe's representatives to discuss the contract termination. Yeah, we spoke about that the other day, man. That was that's bad business. But I think that's the only way they feel they can get him off the books. Boston said, I love Rambo, but what I want is what's best for the club. Bring Ray. I hear you with that. We are going to do fantasy football. We'll get that started for next week. I was shocking in my league last year. So hopefully I do better this year. Yeah, we always pull out the analogies. Alisson is by far the best keeper than Edison. Everyone else is significantly worse. Why spend 40 million? I mean, Onana's interesting. Cost what, 47 million? I think he's going to upgrade Man United massively. Robert Sanchez has gone to... Robert Sanchez left Brighton, gone to Chelsea. Renarsson. No, we don't talk about Renarsson, Colin, not on this channel. I'd take Mbappe on loan for the season. I think we all would. I think I've asked enough questions about Mbappe, BB. Sorry. Arsenal Vlogs was asking if I'm doing a watch-along. Yeah, we're back to watch-along business now. Community Shield, we will be live an hour before kickoff. Big game. And for me, I don't care. For me, that's the start of the season. Start of the season for me. That is a big game. Good opportunity to prove where we're at. Yeah, South London's finest. Ramsdale's done some tell-all interview, I believe, through, is it the Tribunal? I haven't read it, so I can't comment on it. I saw some quotes from it. I think it's quite deep. I think South London's finest saying he was talking about his wife. So I will read it and I'll give you feedback tomorrow. I don't really like to talk about it if I haven't read it. I don't want to misquote anything that he said. Gunnar Motley, big up yourself, bro. Would you keep Pepe? Pepe and Arteta ain't going to work, man. It just ain't going to work. I still think there's half a player in Pepe. I think Pepe has a serious mentality issue. I think he lacks hunger. I think he got that big contract and he's just chilling, man. John said, Havertz reminds me of Kaka. Oh, my, let me just say. Jordan Jarrett, you're my brother, you know. Yo, big up yourself, doing big things. Working in the media, Channel 4, Talksport. He's doing big things. That's my boy. But when the man said, Havertz reminds him of Kaka, I said, what? Which Kaka? Is there another Kaka that plays in the Brazilian what, real Kaká, AC Milan rep? I said, I had to take a minute. I've said some, out there things before. But Havertz and Kaká, boy, Lord of mercy. I don't know what was going on that day, people. I said, boy, if I was on that show, because Kaká is a player that, them Brazilian Donnies, I think we all loved them Brazilian players growing up. Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, Kaká, Ronaldo. Havertz? Lord of mercy, man. Jeez, I was like, nah, we need to calm down. Simon said, agree with you. If we have Rare on a 4-year contract next year, we could sell either keeper for 50 million. That's a good point. People saying he meant Lukaku. Maybe he meant Lukaku. Maybe he missed off the first bit. Blake said Ramsdale heard about Rare and saved a penalty. Hey! Big up Ramsdale. Finally he saves a penalty. Good save as well. Went that way, stuck his arm out. I think it was Minamino, the former Liverpool player. Finally saved a penalty. When the Monaco guy chipped the first penalty down the middle, I said, this is going to be a long night for Ramsdale. He ain't saving one again. But finally, can he now save some penalties in the league? Hopefully we don't give any away, to be honest. George said, Big C, if Raya comes in and does make Ramsdale an even better keeper, wouldn't that be a win-win? We would end up with 2 top-class keepers. That's a great point. Let's hope that's the situation, how it manifests itself. If it does, then brilliant. Kaka or Lukaku? It must be. It must be. Where the man compared Havertz to Kaka, I said, I don't know what's going on here, but something ain't right. because I watched Kaka, and that guy was different. You know what I mean? That guy was special. I ain't trying to compare Havertz to Kaka. That's wild. But it is what it is. Football is a game of opinions, people. It's a game of opinions. That's what I always say to people. Somebody else who looks like he's on his way out, people, is man like Marquinhos. Could be heading to, what team is it? Let me get it. Oh, Olympiacos. Although there is reports today that a French club have come in to try and sign him as well. And he could be more obliged to go to France than go to the Greek league. So whether this one's going to happen or not, I don't know. I think Marquinhos has got a bit of talent, you know. I saw him a little bit in America. Somebody just said, by the way, apologies, how was America? It was a absolutely fantastic tour. And by the way, I spoke to a few people when we was over there who work for Arsenal, and they said that they think Arsenal will go to America again next year for the third year in a row, which is crazy, but they probably will go to different cities again, so could be coming to America again next year. But yeah, I think Marquinhos has got a little bit of talent. Let's not let Jordan Jarrett compare him. Yeah, who says the new Ronaldinho or the new Rivaldo. No more comparisons. I mean, Olympiacos are a big club. They'll probably play in the Champions League, but I'm not sure that's the best of leagues for him to really go and get Champions League, to go and get experience, to come back to the Prem. I would have liked to have seen him go to a more competitive division, to be honest. But I don't know with Marquinhos. I'm not sure. USA loves the Arsenal. You're right. That's a bit harsher. Lou said he's a dead player with zero talent. Fraser, big up yourself, bro. Apologies, I didn't get to meet you. I know you met up with Julian at the fan park. I didn't get to that one, unfortunately. Nantes is a good move for him. Is that the club that won him? You seen the Wenger statue? Any pictures this year? I got a couple pictures last night. Yeah, I will post them later on. It looks all right. What I didn't understand was that Wenger was at the game last night, and they never announced it in the stadium. I wanted everyone to applaud him and that, but they didn't. Obviously, he did some unveiling today, even though we'd already seen it. You know, Marquinhos cuts inside and passes back. That's it. Yeah, I mean, how old is he? I think he's about 20 now. I think he lacks an extra yard of pace, really. That probably stops him being a really, really good winger. He's 20 years of age. Well, time will tell. Paul Michelle Williams renamed Beverly by C Unit. I'm sure she's fine. She's got plenty of money and she's been successful. Calling her Beverly won't ruin her day, I'm sure. Somebody else called her Wendy in the chat. I think that's even worse. What we got? Esron, he said, yeah, no, I've read both of them, actually. Is Wellington Silva back from loan yet? Edu gifted Marquinhos old club 3 million to be football friends. Moises said, all right, this is his team for Sunday against Manchester City. Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Tierney, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, Trossard. I'll be honest. Timber has to start for me. Timber has been absolutely outstanding in pre-season. I agree with nearly all of that team apart from Timber. I don't know whether you play him at right back ahead of Ben White or do you play him at left back ahead of Tierney. He played left back yesterday. I'm just trying to think. Grealish will probably play left wing, probably Bernardo. Tierney's not going to start, is he? But I play Timber at right back. It's very harsh on Ben White because I do think he's good, but I think Timber's better. And this is what football's all about. This is how you improve the squad. You either play Timber at left back or right back, but I would probably play him in his natural position, but I just don't see him playing Tierney. So it's probably more likely that Timber plays at left back and Ben White plays at right back. But I agree with the rest of that team. I would go Saka, Martinelli, Trossard, Partey, Rice, Odegaard. Yeah, that would be the team. Zinchenko obviously not back yet. So, but Timber for me has to start. He's that good. I think so far he's settled in quickest of any of the signings that we've made. Timber at right back. Curtis, I would play both Partey and Rice in the 6. So you'd play them both a little bit deeper and then allow Odegaard to play a little bit higher with that defensive protection. I think one of them at times has to join in, but I know what you're saying, especially against Man City. I think you could play with that little bit more discipline. Say to Declan Rice, listen, we do want you to eventually play in that Xhaka role, but against Man City at Wembley on that big pitch, maybe you keep Declan Rice closer to Thomas Partey and play the actual double pivot. I agree with you on that. I would actually do that against City and just keep us a little bit more solid. Interesting, Osman Dembele has now signed for PSG for £50 million. I was saying the other day, should Arsenal go for him as a potential new right winger? That one is obviously off the table now with that one. Let's start rounding up, people. We've been on for an hour and 20 minutes. Excellent show. Really appreciate everyone locked in. We will obviously start building up to the Manchester City game on Sunday. That is a huge game. Really, really big game for me. That's the start of the season for me. Partey, Rice, pivot, 100%. Curtis, no need to apologise, friends. All good. Hey, apologies, bro. But yeah, next time. Havertz in midfield. Havertz is better in midfield than Rice at the moment. I don't think he's better than Rice. I think he's probably more used to the attacking role. He's a natural attacking player. So when we go forward, he probably understands the positioning a little bit better. Declan Rice was a 6 at West Ham. We want him to be an 8 at Arsenal. So I still think Rice is a better midfielder than Havertz. Just in that attacking role, it's a lot different, you know. One thing's for certain, we've still got a lot of players that need to be shifted. The wage bill is still too high. Pepe is still on the wage. Lokonga is. Tavares is there. Cedric's there. Patino hasn't left yet. You know, I still think that's at least 5-6 players that need to be, you know, sold and moved off the wage bill. Interesting today, Manchester City being linked with Michael Elise. A lot of Arsenal fans have said before that we should have gone for him, and they're now saying he has this £35 million release clause, which is peanuts in this market, really. What we got? Curtis Rice isn't technically better in Xhaka's position. Havertz fits properly, just needs confidence. Are you logging in on the metaverse on Sunday? Nah, no metaverse business, man. No metaverse. I would have maybe gone to the game, to be honest. Obviously, the Ukraine charity match. Sel Patino, Tavares, Balogun, Holding, and Cedric. I mean, how much could you get for them, really? Balogun, you got to be scraping 40. Cedric, Holding, you maybe get 6-7 million a pop. You ain't going to get a lot. I don't know how much you get for Patino. Tavares, maybe get 10. You can maybe get 60-70 million for those guys. But, and then on top of that as well, does Tierney stay? Because Tierney's hardly getting a game at the moment. So you kind of wonder what's happening with him. That's what happened to the lady who told you to take off your vest last night. I don't know about all that, you know. I don't know about all that. Tomiyasu is another one. Well, they were saying yesterday that if Arsenal get a good offer for Tomiyasu, that the club would consider selling him. So I know he was being linked with Inter Milan. So would you let Tomiyasu go, people? Would you let him go? I think if the club got 20 million plus, they'd let Tomiyasu go. I've got to be honest. Quality stream, Curtis, I'm out. Yeah, I'm out as well. We've been on for an hour and 20 minutes. 2.7k locked in. Make sure you like the video on the way out. Tomorrow's Friday. We'll start building up to the Charity Shield. We should have the press conference from Arteta as well. We'll see who's fit and available. What team will we go with? Is there any more transfer news? And press conference reaction. Waffle settings with Arteta, people. Big up to everyone tuned in today. Nice stream, over an hour and 20 minutes. We're back in the swing of things now. We'll be back with streams. Watch-alongs we're in. Obviously, we'll be doing a watch-along for the Community Shield. I've been to my pre-season games. Now we're back in business. So big up to everyone locked in. I'll be live again tomorrow. I'll probably be on at 4 o'clock tomorrow as well because I'm doing talking transfers on AFTV tomorrow early afternoon. So by the time I get back, we'll be live at 4 tomorrow. Big up to everyone tuned in. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Hit that like button on the way out. Bleck said, I bet Arteta will start with Kiwi at left back. Wouldn't surprise me. He likes him and he started yesterday. Big up to everyone locked in, and I'll see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.